So this is a little story about my project to create some custom TriStar alloys for my Celica. I mean, I just love the standard Toyota design. I think it's absolutely fabulous. I just think, as I said in my last video, it looks a little small in the arches, and it's really hard to get tires. Well, tires that I would want to put on anyway. So I went about researching companies, and I found this one company called Rims Carnated, worked with them to come up with this design in 17s. These are one-piece forged aluminium alloys. Like I said, 17-inch 8J with an ET35 offset. And all four wheels are exactly the same. Except they're not. They're actually sided. I'll explain in a bit more detail what I mean by that, but for now, just check out these bad boys. The design is pretty much the same. That's the whole point. They're supposed to be as close to the originals as possible, just updated in a larger size, and where possible, just a slightly sharper, cleaner design. I mean, the wheels aren't cheap. It took me a while to settle on actually, committing to buy them. And so in the interim, I've gone back and forth, just wondering whether or not I've done the right thing, making an almost exact copy of the original design. And the reason I've highlighted these 3 points here is, I was wondering if maybe I should have taken some more material out there to make the design a little bit more, a little bit sharper and cleaner, more distinctive, to make the TriStar more distinctive. I mean, also wondering, should I have put a bit of a lip on it, a little bit of a dish? Should I have spent a little bit more and made them 2-piece or 3-piece? Should I have gone 18-inch rather than 17-inch? And I think I just kind of keep reminding myself of what the brief was, which is I just want it to look as close to the original design as possible, because I think Toyota did a good job initially, just updated with the larger size, and to really keep that 90s aesthetic, because as soon as you start to stray away from that, I think it's a step backwards. Well, that's what I think. It's for me and for my taste anyway. So the wheels were delivered just before Christmas. Took a really long time, about 3+ months from the time that I placed the order. And I got back on the 2nd, 3rd of January, and straight away took my old truck to go put some fresh rubber on the wheels. I really wanted Michelin 5S. They were available, but in the end, because of the lead times, I only managed to get Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, which I think is good enough. So the idea was to try and get all four wheels on the car. I mean, I don't do this very often. I'm not much of a DIY person. So this is an all-day project for me. This is how the wheels look before. These are what I like about these wheels that are on at the moment. They're Revolution. I don't know exactly what the name is, but they rallied with something similar to that in period, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, this is what they look like. You can see that there's a slightly more defined edge there than the originals. You can also see that that it's slightly concave rather than convex. Right? They're dished. They're slightly dished. And crucially, they're sided. Right? So if you focus on this bit here, on this wheel, you'll see that it's different on the other wheel. Mirror image, in fact, and this one should spin anti-clockwise, and this one should spin clockwise. It's pretty cool, I think. Okay, so the plan is to obviously replace the wheels. Before I do that, I'm going to just inspect the wheel arch. In one of the previous videos, I've had a lot of under seal added to the car to protect it, but I'm going to have a go at lanyard guarding the suspension arms and some of the other suspension components inside the wheel arch, which I don't think has been covered or touched. Okay, here's a first look at it. Not too bad. Credit to the previous owner. He painted the calipers, starting to flake a little bit now. That looks like a bit of salt from the driving that I've been doing recently. It looks a little bit crusty here. That rusty bolt there is giving me a bit of stress, but I'm not going to replace it. I think I'll just jet wash the inside, remove as much debris and dirt as I can, so that I know it's clean when I replace the wheel arch liner. The wheel arch liner has been off on this car for ages. It was so hard for me to take the wheel arch liner off that I just couldn't face putting it back. And then I damaged it, so I had to go and get fresh wheel arch liner and all the appropriate fixings. Okay, that's got to be dry enough now. I think I'm just going to spray this on, try to avoid the brake discs and the calipers, and just get to all the suspension arms best I can, and some of the fittings as well. This is my first time using liner guard. I have to say it's impressive. It's good stuff. It's quite oily, but it's quite comforting, you know. Once you've done this yourself, you just spray it everywhere, trying to avoid the brake discs, obviously. This is clear and it sets hard, and when it's finished it kind of gives it a blackish look. I mean, it hasn't dried yet, but you have to take my word for it. I don't think I filmed the after thing, but it looks pretty decent. Now, onto my arch nemesis. No pun intended, actually. The wheel arch liner. I mean, Toyota really did over-engineer this. I'm just looking at it. I haven't actually finished that that leading edge of the arch liner, but there's a whole bunch of fixtures and fittings here. Bought some new ones. Put them on as best I can. And there are actually two parts to the arch, to the under trays. One is the arch liner, and there's like a front under tray which I haven't added back on yet. So I'll do that a bit later once I've got it up on a ramp. Okay, time for the main event. Na-na. And they look exactly like the old wheels. Well, look, there are a few nice touches. This there's normally a Toyota logo here, and I think this has been machined really nicely. This is all aluminium, so it's a pretty cool touch. Nice little update on the original. As I'm lifting these up, I'm just going to say that I think they weigh approximately the same, or if not slightly more than the original OEM wheels. I really ought to weigh them. Definitely want to compare them to what my current wheels weigh, so I'll do that soon. I'll also be interested to know how they compare to the OEM wheels. So as per the title of the video, something goes drastically wrong here. But I won't spoil it just yet. I can't actually feel it. I can't notice what the problem is. At this point, anyway. Couldn't resist a little before and after shot. can see I've got a little bit more sidewall there, which is exactly what I wanted. It's not huge, but hopefully it's going to be noticeable on the road. So the overall wheel plus tire diameter should be the same. Oh my god, I am so pleased with that. You know, I started this, well, I designed these wheels with rims carnated about 2 years ago, and you kind of forget the aesthetic that you're going for after a while, and your tastes and preferences change, you know, they're constantly changing. So I wasn't sure if this would work, but it just looks so perfect. That's the only word that can explain it. It looks like this was designed by Toyota. I mean, it was designed by Toyota, but they just look spot on. Damn, smashed it. You know, sometimes I have to say I completely outdo myself. I don't want to go inside. I mean, that is spot on. It's exactly what I wanted. I do have a really big problem though. Well, I don't know what the problem is, but I've just tightened the wheels up. I tried to reverse because I wanted to get this lamppost out of the way. It's kind of jammed, almost like the handbrake's stuck on, but the handbrake's not on. So there's something is catching here, and I'm not sure what it is. I'll need to figure that out. Anyway, that's enough for now. Sick. Smashed it, smashed it, smashed it. Yes, you are the man. You know this, right? So that was a couple of days ago, and the reason that the front tire was locked was because the brake was touching the inside of the wheel. I'm talking about the brake caliper. Disaster, right? I tried to reverse it. I only tried to move it 1 meter and it just wasn't moving at all. Anyway, really, really annoying. The wheels don't fit, which is surprising because I see a lot of people on the Celica GT-Four forum on Facebook running the same offsets. So 8J wheels and plus ET35 offsets. So it should clear, and they said that they checked out the caliper specifications and they made sure that they, you know, cleared them, but obviously something's gone wrong. I know I'm running standard calipers. Talking about calipers, I'm really annoyed that, well, I'm going to take the wheels off in a second, and I think that when I reversed, even though it was just a meter, that rubbing on the inside, I'm hoping it hasn't caused too much damage to the caliper, but I'm sure I'm going to have to either replace the caliper or at the very least get the paint redone. Super annoying. But these are small problems, right? I'm lucky that I have this problem. So I'm trying to be positive. I'm going to take the wheels off and we'll see if we can get them replaced. The other annoying thing, it's a very long process, right? It's going to take, I mean, it took 3 months from the time I purchased to the time the wheels were delivered. At least 3 months. I think it's probably more, just over 3 months, maybe 14 weeks or something like that. Because they have to go, they make them and then they have to do some kind of testing and then they have to get certified. Apparently it's a process. So if they're going to take more material out of the inside, I'd imagine this is going to take another 3 months. Annoying. But yeah, let's just get the other wheels back on. The next thing we're going to work on will be the gear shift. I need to improve the gear shift, it's a little sticky, so we'll get that fixed. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.